Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Funky Marketing Show. Without further ado, I want to present you my guest today. His name is Mikael Dia. He's the CEO of Funnelytics, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff related to measuring the performance, the whole customer's journey, what Funnelytics does, and all those other stuff. Mikael, can you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate being here. Just a quick background about me. I started in kind of the digital marketing space and really online entrepreneurship back in about 2010, and I've been building online businesses ever since then. All sorts of different types of businesses. Eventually, I started a marketing agency that we ended up growing, and out from that marketing agency came this idea called Funnelytics, which is my current company, where we help you visualize your customer journeys, and we help you analyze and optimize the performance of those customer journeys all in kind of one visual canvas.
Sounds good. I mean, following you from I think early beginnings, so I was able to see how you integrated in everything you do, like the will to help agency owners and people who are developing similar businesses actually grow as you are growing the Funnelytics, right? I think
Yep.
that was one of the main aspects for it, since now that you tell me, so your background is basically owning an agency or something like that, then you saw the need for the tool like Funnelytics, and basically you got into developing it, to kind of help people actually measuring things.
Correct. At the end of the day, I didn't know whether or not people wanted this tool. I really built it for myself. I built the concept of Funnelytics was something that I just felt would simplify my life a little bit. And yeah, it was just something that I wanted ultimately, and I didn't know if people wanted it. So in order to figure out whether or not people cared, I ended up building kind of a community around around this and around this idea of funnels and funnel optimization and funnel strategies and all this stuff. And um, sure enough, yeah, people cared and people wanted it.
That sounds like something I'm talking all the time. If somebody asks me how, and they ask me because this is what I do, how to come up with do they need to start a community when they have the product, or before that? I always like to go back to some of the examples, like Drift or some other companies that created the community, then basically let people talk inside the community, and then came up with a product. Is something similar that happened to you as well while you were working with it and talking with other people?
Yeah, I built the community as I was building the product, and I kind of kept drip feeding into the community updates and where this
Mm-hmm.
product was headed, and getting feedback and better understanding the needs for people. So, yeah, building that community creates it certainly creates a way to crowdsource your ideas and your the almost the roadmap to some degree, and making sure that you're building. Now there are disadvantages to that we can talk about as well, but overall the whole point of a community is to help help them, right? At the end of the day, one thing that needs you need to keep in mind though when you're building a community is it's not about your product, it's not about your service, it's not about you, it's about the transformation that they're trying to achieve, it's about where they're headed, and how can you help them get there. Your product, your service, um, whatever it is that you're selling is just a vehicle for them to help them get closer and closer towards their goals. But there's lots of things that they'll need to learn, there's lots of things that they'll need to do, that your product or service by itself just won't help them get there, right? So um, if you really want a thriving community, you've got to keep that in mind. You're not there to sell your product, you're not there to um, really centered around your product. You're there to help them achieve their goals, and you want to just provide genuine value to helping them achieve their goals.
Sounds good. I think that's the hardest thing to do, right? It's not about you, it's not about your product. It's, community is something that goes along with it, because it basically exists for you to help them get to the next level using your product in most cases, but even if not, you're here to help them. I think
Exactly.
you this is where you actually gave your expertise a lot. It
Mhm.
means like you as somebody who has built the business, sharing your experience, and basically, the way you were building Funnelytics, actually sharing those experiences with other entrepreneurs and helping them get to the next level as well.
Yep. No, that was part of it, for sure. And remember that, like, whatever you share and whatever you provide in terms of value will really dictate who your community is, right? If you're sharing a lot of value around how to build a company from scratch to, say, reach that seven-figure mark, then you're going to start attracting and bringing in people who are at that stage looking to start from scratch and follow in the footsteps. So I think it's very important to really understand who like your dream customer is, where they're at currently in their journey, what's the next major milestone that they're trying to reach in that journey, and how can you help them get to that thing, right? So the more specific you are, the better and more thriving that community becomes, right? If I create a community, let's say on funnel marketing, that's a very, very broad topic. Now it sounds like it's very niche if you consider marketing, digital marketing, funnel marketing, but it's still extremely broad. Well, for who exactly? Am I a new business owner that's trying to launch my first funnel? Do I have a funnel right now and I'm trying to optimize that funnel? Is that funnel making a lot of money? Is it for agencies who are doing funnel marketing for clients? Is it for businesses who are trying to do funnel marketing for themselves? You could probably niche it down in terms of what kind of businesses they're doing it for themselves. Is it course creators? So the more granular you can be, the easier it is to create engagement within that community, and make that community very, very specific. Obviously, when you're building a community for your core product, a lot of times, especially if you're in a software space or whatever, it won't be that granular in terms of who you serve. So now you've got to expand out the community a little bit, and you've got to try to find those commonalities so that you can help all of them move towards the same direction.
Yeah, so I have a question, and I think you uh, did a very good job in segmenting people, like based on the packages, services, and everything. When I come to Funnelytics website, I can to try to get a free trial, and basically you ask me all the different things, like who am I in the company, how big is the company, then is it marketing, is it e-commerce, or is it something else. And I
Yep.
love using those things to kind of segment people all the way. And what I wanted to ask you is how difficult it was to get to that point from where you started, like knowing who you are talking to and what can you offer to all those different target groups.
Very difficult. I'll be very blunt and honest. It's still happening. We're still refining it.
It's never ending, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really end, because the truth is you've got to get to a stage where every the best way to think about it is, how can you get to a stage where every single case study that a customer gives you is basically the exact same, right? There's no difference in the case study that people are giving you. They're basically repeating the same thing, and it's just they're repeating it over and over and over again. So, for example, with us, when we looked at all of our testimonials, all of our case studies with Funnelytics, we'd have a bunch of people saying, Funnelytics helped me close a client. Funnelytics helped me retain my clients longer. Funnelytics helped me increase my prices. Funnelytics helped me visualize and align my team on our strategy. Funnelytics helped me look at the bottlenecks in my funnel. All of those are different case studies. They're different testimonials, right? So now your job is to decide, well, you can't serve everybody and you can't build something for everyone. So maybe over time it'll expand and it'll take on more people and all that stuff. But when you're at a startup stage, your job is to refine that and focus as much as you possibly can so that you deliver one value to one core customer where every single time they're coming back and telling you the exact same thing. So if people come back to us and say, hey, Funnelytics helped me optimize my webinar funnel so that I could sell more of my online course, automatically without spending more money on ads, then that's very, very specific, right? Now, and if I get 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 100 testimonials that all say the same thing, now we can go and, confidently go to the market and say, if you want to optimize your webinar funnel without spending more money on ads and you sell a course online to a consumer, like, there's no better place for you to do that, right? This tool is going to help you. But the minute you broaden that too much, it becomes really hard to now decide, okay, well, how do I serve this person? How do I serve this person? How this person needs something slightly different, and this one wants something, and it makes it very difficult. So that was probably the biggest challenge out of growing and Funnelytics. And it's truthfully probably something that causes, like, it causes stalled growth, right? The more diverse you are, the harder it is to actually scale.
Yeah, that's very well explained, and I love the way you got into the details to help exactly, the people with what they need to be helped with, so then they can share it and they can come back with, having built actual results and using Funnelytics to do that, to get there, or just to show them the way. Let's call it like that. To be honest, while I was in default design, we use Funnelytics everywhere. We already talked. You remember that you were the guest at the conference and everything. And basically, when I started Funky Marketing, I started doing things, and I needed to draw our strategy for creating content machine and everything. And what was the go-to tool? It was Funnelytics. So it was the obvious choice. And by sharing it, I think a lot more people now, saw the value of it, and they go and they started using it. So when you have a tool and you actually show the people how they can use it to get results, it's one of the biggest endorsement that you can give them. So basically, they give you back the value by sharing results or the process or whatever they are using it for.
Yep, I agree. Totally.
And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I didn't know how much people are using Funnelytics, or they're using other tools or something like that. And a couple of days ago, I drew the funnel for a client, and I just shared it. I didn't like, I don't want to explain, I'm too tired, but here's the funnel. If you have any questions, just ask. And people reached out in the inbox, man, can you share me the link to the funnel, so I can adapt it a little bit, use it on our end. And there were a couple of people that are using Funnelytics, and I told them, you can use it if you have Funnelytics. Yeah, we have it, we are using it. So uh, kind of got me back to 2 years before, when I was more into performance marketing, and see how many people are actually using it to achieve their goals.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting, super cool to hear. Um, you know, I had no idea, right, when I first started Funnelytics, that people would use it this way, or that it would, grow. But it has been a pleasant surprise for sure. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so tell me, at this moment, when you've grown, like, how are you describing the product? Because I know what you started from. Now you build some things. So I just want to get to the point, when we can see how we're seeing it now, and what are the next steps. Because I know you raised investment, and I'm excited to hear what's cooking.
Cool. Yeah. So really, we have the way I describe Funnelytics is a journey. It's a journey planning or journey mapping and performance tool. So what that means is we give you a canvas, we help you map out your customer journeys, map out all the different touch points across your customer journey so that you can see them in this visual format, in a funnel format, right? So if you normally use a whiteboard to kind of map stuff out, you can use our canvas to do so. But the key of Funnelytics is that what we want to look at is the performance of that journey. We want to see, is that journey working? Where are the bottlenecks in it? What do you need to pull in order to optimize this journey? So with Funnelytics, you can overlay all of that data right there on that same canvas, on that same map, and see exactly where are those places. So really, we help you visualize your journeys. We help you monitor the performance of your journeys. And we help you identify where you can optimize to grow and scale that, and make that journey more powerful.
Yeah, sounds good. I think, like, not being able to follow the journey, and not being able to calculate the cost or what's going to happen before you launch the campaign, I think that was one of the biggest pain points that marketers had in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah, we allow you to. That's something that we have, is a forecasting feature. However, and interestingly enough, you kind of mentioned, about we raised investment and where are we headed. So forecasting is a very powerful feature when you're planning your next funnel. And going back to one of the things that I mentioned to you is how do you narrow down on this big idea? How do you narrow down to the core customer that you want to serve now and today? And for us, what we've realized is the core customer that we're really kind of doubling down on is that customer, is that person who already has data. They've already got traffic. They're already in the optimization phase. They're looking to figure out where are the bottlenecks in their funnels, not so much launch their next funnel. So our forecasting feature in that particular sense did not really make much sense, right? You're not trying to predict what this funnel can do. You already have data to look at as benchmarks. So instead, what it really becomes is setting targets for improvements across your journeys. And that's really one of the things that we're really focused on now with the launch of Funnelytics 2.0, is doubling down on journey optimization and performance and monitoring, as opposed to planning and launching. That said, our mapping tool in Funnelytics 2.0 is significantly better than the one on 1.0. The experience is incredible in terms of mapping out your journeys, and it's still going to be free. And we're really kind of doubling down on that user experience to make it so much smoother, so much faster, so much easier to map out your customer journeys. But from an actual analytics standpoint, what we're really focused on is working with those businesses who want to optimize, who are ready at that stage, who's got enough traffic to start optimizing.
Yeah, sounds. I mean, it got me thinking around the things, some companies that I've been working with. So, like, one of the challenges is that monitoring the performance and optimizing it. And on the other hand, is like coming up with that data, what's working, what isn't, and the next step, and using that to kind of get the bigger budget for the marketing or for advertising or for other stuff. Like, it seems like we are getting into the moment in time when we can have enough data to actually use all those things and makes our next step significantly more clear and
Yep.
more up to the point.
Absolutely, totally, and that's the key, right? That's ultimately the key within this is how do you help businesses grow? How do you the first part of helping a business grow is helping them patch any sort of leaky holes that they have, right? If they have a leaky bucket, um, it becomes very hard to get a bigger budget as an agency because you're just dumping more money into a leaky bucket, right? So as an agency, what you should really be focused on and start thinking about, and what Funnelytics enables you to do, or makes it easier for you to do, I should say, is you don't want to just be the media buyer. You want to be the agency that fixes the holes in the leaky bucket and also spends more money at the top and puts more. But once those holes are fixed and there's less leaks in that bucket, your clients make more money. They stick with you longer. They see you as they don't see you as a commodity because you're no longer just saying, hey, I do Facebook ads, or I do SEO, or I do page designs, or whatever it is. You're here to really help them fix that leaky bucket and then continue to add water and make it bigger and make it work better. So that's a very important part.
Yeah, that's exactly my experience with agencies, and the things that I see is missing, and that is agencies just being somebody that does the execution of somebody else's strategy and not doing those things, to fix the holes, to get, to see what's been working before, what's working now, and how can they just come up and accelerate, even if it's the campaign or it's the growth, or there is some other goal,
Yep.
to it.
Yep. No, that's how it goes.
Yeah. So tell me, I saw the recent post of yours when you said one of the best growth strategies is not to focus on growth, but to focus on reducing refunds of existing sales. And I kind of want to get your point of view on that and experience related to that
Sure.
topic.
Yeah, it's funny. People got mad at that post because they saw that saying that, well, by reducing refunds and sales, you're ultimately trying to keep customers who don't really want to stay around anyways. I look at it slightly differently. I say that if you really want to grow your company, you need to understand, why are people refunding? Who is refunding? By spending more time on the post purchase process, and not just doubling down on customer acquisition, right? New customer acquisition, and instead focusing on everything that happens after that purchase, what you start realizing is there are some customers that don't request refunds, that love your product or your service, that are engaged, etc. And then there are some who are the opposite. And you can learn from both. And your job is to remove the people who are asking for refunds, not to get more of them, right? Like, that's the problem if you focus only on customer acquisition, is everything that happens afterwards is the same. So I'm going to get more and more customers. 50% of them are going to be crap, and 50% are going to be great, or whatever the ratio becomes. Well, by focusing on post acquisition, focusing on reducing refunds, it's not about adding tactics to say like, hey, make it harder for somebody to request a refund or anything like that. It's way more about the idea of, ultimately, apologies if there's a little bit of sound here,
All good.
but ultimately what we're really starting to think about is how can I reduce the number of customers who are coming in who don't fit success versus the ones who do. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, that's great, and I love the topic because I think 80% of the companies are focused on acquisition, and they don't look at what's after they acquire customers. Are they staying? Why are they leaving? And I think that's the company problem, not the specific department problem, because we are not getting to the core of the things. And I don't know if you agree with this, but my kind of point of view is that the biggest advantage of the companies today is the customer experience, because there are companies that have similar features, similar products, and I think the whole experience in buying the tool and after in using it, and how you get the interaction with a company, with the people from the company, are you increasing the value or are you decreasing it? That's so much, that gives so much value to the company that it's cannot be seen anywhere, basically.
Yeah, look, ultimately, again, a tool is just a vehicle to help you achieve what you want to achieve. So, for example, if you're an agency owner, you're not looking for a tool per se. You're looking to close more clients. Okay, how do I close more clients? Well, if I can visually show my client what I'm going to do for them in a way that they understand, then my likelihood of closing that client goes up. Okay, so now I need a vehicle to help me visualize the strategy and what I'm going to do for my client, because it's going to help me close more clients. And ultimately, that's the transformation that I want. Is I want to close more clients. The tool itself could be PowerPoint, it could be a whiteboard with a picture, it could be Funnelytics and using the canvas, it could be, there's all sorts of ways, but the outcome is still the same, which is communicating to my client, here's what I'm going to do for you, et cetera, right? So what most people get hung up on is the features of their tool. My tool is drag and drop, my tool is easy, blah, blah, blah. But they forget, why is somebody using your tool? What is the outcome that they're trying to achieve? And a lot of times people don't even know what the outcome is. So they just sell the tool. So they sell this visual funnel mapping tool. But like, if I sell a visual funnel mapping tool to somebody who A, doesn't care, and B, isn't trying to either communicate a strategy to a stakeholder, then it doesn't matter. So what I'm really selling is not a funnel mapping tool. What I'm selling is easy communication to stakeholders, right? Alignment. We're selling everybody speaking the same language, like understanding what we're about to do, all being on the same page. That's what we're really selling when we're selling our mapping tool. The features of it are, yeah, it's drag and drop. It's super easy. There's templates. There's blah, blah, blah. But none of that matters if the outcome isn't there.
Love that. Love that. You nailed it all the way, and I'm glad that we are have the same opinion about this, because I see so many people, for example, right now around ABM, or those or the topics which are hot, and now like we are going to buy, which tool are we going to buy, and we're going to start ABM.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, we first need to start doing things, have the process, have everything, and then basically the tool is to take it to the next level, not to start it out.
Yeah, I mean, it may help you start out, but the question is, again, why are you trying to do ABM? Like, why are you trying to do account-based
Yeah.
marketing for people who don't know what that ABM means? But Why are you like, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? What's the transformation? Did you try other things in the past and now you're trying account-based marketing because other things didn't work for you? If you don't understand the outcome, then ultimately you're stuck, right? You get in this strange situation where you're just selling an account-based marketing tool, which may have a bunch of features, but those features don't necessarily help you achieve the outcome that you want.
Yeah, talking about that, you had a good poll. Like, how many companies do you think know what a marketing funnel is? And
Yeah.
it got me thinking into how big factor in growing the company was the education, because I think that's really important to have to talk about, and to actually get you the customers that you want at the stage where you want them.
Yep. For sure. I mean, it's understanding. Again, remember, people are trying to achieve an outcome. They're not trying to use a tool or buy a product, or nobody buys a course for the sake of buying a course. They buy a course because they want an outcome, right? Nobody buys a tool for the sake of just buying a tool. They buy a tool because they want an outcome. And if you don't understand, again, what is the top of the mountain for your core customer, where are they trying to go, then unfortunately, what you end up doing is, again, you're just selling a solution. You're not selling a transformation. The goal is always to think about the transformation that somebody wants. And part of that transformation is education. It will always require some sort of education. For example, I could sell you a tool that allows you to send out emails, right? Cool. Here's your CRM. Here's MailChimp. That's great. But like, what do I put in my emails? What am I trying to, like, I want to get more customers. Like, what should my emails, how do I write high converting emails? There's so many questions around that now my email tool is useless if I don't have the education around it. Now, obviously, we've gone past that when it comes to emails, but if you think of HubSpot back in 2008 or whatever it is, maybe a bit earlier than that, nobody knew what inbound marketing was. Nobody thought about ranking articles and doing basically organic driven content to yet here they are building this tool that allows you to capture emails and get contacts in. But like, cool, this tool allows me to get leads, and I can email those leads and I can follow up with them. Like, how do I get leads? Right? Back then, nobody knew how to do it, right? So they had to build all this education around, here's how you do inbound marketing. And why? Because the outcome that you want is people coming to you as opposed to you having to go to them. And as they come to you, they become contacts. You can follow up with them, blah, 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 right? That's the outcome. That's the transformation that I want in my business. I don't want a CRM. Like, it's just a piece of me having, like, it's necessary. I need a CRM to achieve my goal, but the goal is not the CRM.
Yeah, and I think also relates to, is there an existing demand to what you want to do, or you need to create one, right? Because
Yeah, and creating demand is very difficult.
yeah,
It
and
takes a long time.
we are living in the times when lots of technology products are being developed, and if you just go and ask people, what do you want, they won't give you the answer because they don't know that something exists, like your product don't exist. But still, the way I see it, they will be pissed off because you didn't deliver when you already asked, if you don't deliver the right thing.
For
And
sure. Because
therefore education is important.
yeah, because it's about their outcome. It's about their goals and what they want to achieve. Like, the perfect example of this, I remember, do you remember Google Glass?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good example of releasing a product prior to like understanding the core outcome, and like it was a cool product, right? But it was too early in terms
Yeah.
of like when they released it, but also B, like nobody realized like what do I do with this thing? Like what am I? It's cool, I see it, but like it doesn't bring anything to me. Like like my outcome may be to be, I don't know, to be more lazy and to like not have to move. Like so things like Amazon worked. Why? Because it's a one click, it's fast shipping, you don't have to get out, you don't have to go to the store, etc. That helped me solve the outcome that I want, which is I want to stay at home all the time. But a product like Google Glass never really addressed an outcome that I want as a consumer.
Yeah.
Now it's getting closer and closer with VR and the with Meta and the metaverse and Web 3.0 and where is this all going? Augmented reality, etc. And now it's starting to get closer and closer towards consumers understanding what is the outcome that they truly want from this, and companies building towards that outcome that consumers want. However, at the time when Google Glass came out, it didn't do anything, and therefore it got shelved, and they lost billions of dollars because of it.
Yeah, basically it was a nice accessoire to have and nothing else because we
Exactly.
didn't know what to do with it.
It didn't do anything. It didn't make my life better. It didn't make it easier. It didn't simplify anything. It just made me look like this weird person from Star Trek.
Yeah, talking about that transformation and everything, I want to ask you: did you notice the change in the way people buy and consume things in the last, let's say, 2 years, something like that, when we had COVID, when things changed? Did you notice some changes, related to the Funnelytics and just in general?
Um, no,
Because
not
I,
really.
I I know that you are already been into the topics like remote work, those kind of stuff. Because maybe there were changes in the agencies, the way they work. Did it impact the way you sell or the way people buy the product?
No, not particularly. I think the especially in my world, everyone we work with is already kind of online businesses to begin with. A lot of them already have that remote. Obviously, there's been major in like improvements, or certain categories have skyrocketed, right? Zoom and collaboration tool and online meeting tools and things that make it easier to work remotely has obviously skyrocketed. Things that make it easier to work not just from home, but also to um, start my own online business has obviously started skyrocketing, the Shopify's of the world and all this stuff. Um, but in terms of whether it changed how we approach the market, how we sell or whatever like that, no, not really. It's all been relatively similar. I think there's certain events that make a much bigger difference, like you know the Facebook and Apple stuff and the iOS changes. For our market, that's a much bigger event that creates demand and makes people look for solutions. But otherwise, I wouldn't say so. No.
Yeah. Did you have issues? I mean, obviously you had to change some things related to the way you track performance and all those other stuff. And did it impact, you know, and in which way?
No, I mean, ultimately, the way Funnelytics works is instantly, the whole iOS update doesn't make an impact, doesn't make a difference for us. Like we actually help people who have that problem and aren't able to understand the performance of their journeys, from Facebook. And um, one thing that we are not a media buying attribution platform. So we aren't here to help media buyers better attribute ads or anything like that. What we ultimately do, though, is we help you understand the performance of your campaigns and your ads and how those contribute to various stages of your marketing funnel. So yeah, more people have come to us because of that and trying to understand how does Facebook, help impact the actual marketing funnel.
Yeah, you reminded me now of the thing when when we were promoting the conference back 2 3 years ago. I don't know where it was, but we wanted to track. We organized a bunch of webinars, and we wanted to track. Measure the influence. Let's call it like that. And one of the things we were able to measure with Funnelytics is that a guy just shared once on link on the Instagram story and got, I think, around 400 or 500 people registered to the webinar. And it was like, it was a guy that people here consider, as a laugh, somebody that, influencing people, but, does he really know what he's doing? And then, like,
Yeah.
we were able to show, like, look, he got more people on his webinar than all the other, let's call them influencers did, right? So in a way, we filled in the gap and we informed the market about, real influence of someone.
Yeah, there you go. That's really cool. Really cool to hear.
Yeah. So tell me, is there anything else you wanted to go into, or do you have, a message or something that people can take away from this episode?
I guess just based on everything we've spoken about, yeah, it comes down to if you're growing your business, it comes down to understanding the transformation that you're trying to get for your clients and being very very specific about that transformation. That's ultimately what it comes down to. That's the basis of building the right community. That's the basis of building the right product, because the product is just there to enable the transformation. It is not there by itself to make the transformation happen. Part of that requires education, it'll require services, it'll require support, all of that stuff to help that person move towards that transformation. But yeah, I mean, that's the main takeaway.
It reminds me a lot of what Andy Ruskin is preaching. The strategic narrative and knowing what are you doing things and starting not from the problem but starting from the bigger change or transformation, because then people basically feel more more free to talk about the problem and to
Yep.
get into those things, because there's a transformation, there's a change that is bigger than who they are.
Yep, totally. I agree.
Sounds good, man. Where can people find more information about you, about Funnelytics, about all the things that you do?
Yeah, so come check me out on LinkedIn. That's where I post most of my content and all that stuff. So Mikael Dia on LinkedIn. You'll find me. You'll see me with the hat. So that's relatively easy to find me. So come connect with me there, and then go to funnelytics.io. Sign up to our free mapping tool. Play around with it. We're going to be releasing Funnelytics 2.0 in Q2 of this year. So I'm super excited for that. It's happening in the next couple of months, which is super cool. And yeah, and those are basically the two places.
Yeah, sounds good. Before we end, you reminded me now of one question that I have, because when I was going looking out for some different tools to kind of up the funnel and everything, and I was checking Miro, I already have the access to analytics to the free stuff, but I wanted to go from zero, to see how it's all set up, and like both Funnelytics to schedule a call or do something before I actually get to see the tool.
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm thinking is, like, I just wanted to get into it today, draw, visualize things, send it to the client, get approved, and then buy the tool and go for it. So just wanted, maybe, I don't know if it's a feedback or whatever it is, but maybe it's a good chance to think about those stuff, before, because I think so many companies are going, like, go into the demo or schedule a call so we can show you the tool. Maybe I want to check it out myself. I know that both tools have, free trial or whatever it is, free part, when we can use it. But maybe, the access to it can be, more easier in that way.
Yeah, I think you have to understand who your market is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you need to realize that although you may be at that stage where I want to go and play with a mapping tool. What if the person who's coming to us wants to just look at performance, and the only way to look at performance is by scheduling a demo? Now we're making it very hard for them to schedule a demo by forcing them to go into the mapping tool first. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to realize who is your audience, who is your market, what are you actually trying to achieve, and you can't build a perfect experience for everybody, right? So you've got to understand who do you want to help, and for us, that's the key, right? Is we're looking for the businesses who are, yes, mapping is part of our product and our experience, and you can go and use our mapping tool. However, if you're at the stage where you're looking to optimize your funnels, then schedule a demo. Let's move forward, because you can't actually optimize your funnels. You can't look at your data on our free mapping canvas anyways. So it all depends on who your customer is, right? It all depends on who you're trying to serve.
Yeah, I love the explanation. Maybe just, that's an idea, maybe to make it more clarifying. If somebody wants to just try the mapping, maybe give them the access. If you want to use other stuff and is more like likely to be the ideal customer, maybe go the other way. That's just some thoughts.
Yep, appreciate it. That's awesome.
Also, like Robert Bryant just said that he registered to Funnelytics, going to use it to track the appointments booking for his medical doctor clients and improve the funnel. Seems promising, he said.
Cool, awesome. Give it a shot, Robert, and we're looking forward to speaking.
Cool, man. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for all the insights that you shared. Thanks for taking time. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, that was awesome. Appreciate you taking the time to host me.
Guys, now is the time to get back to the start of the episode. Me and Mikael went into all kind of different stuff back and forth, so you can go find the specific parts of the conversation that will, be the one thing that you can take from the episode. Go ahead, reach out to Mikael, reach out to Funnelytics, try the tool, see if it works for you, and basically keep it funky, and see you in the next episode.
Awesome.
Bye bye.
Take care.